Hello, everybody. I guess we could just say hello, YouTube, while we're waiting for people to come in.
Hello, everybody.
We are currently going to be talking about Attack on Titan, Season 4, Episode 9. Do I have that correct?
Yeah, I believe so. Sounds about right.
Yeah, there's 7 episodes left. So we're going to be talking about spoilers. So if either uh, you haven't watched it yet, go watch it. If you have but you haven't watched this episode, we have recaps on the I'm pretty sure there's a video I've done recently where there's a recap going on. I'm going to try and get these out as fast as I can. These tend to run long as I am currently editing the first one, and I'm like, ooh, 4 hours. Ooh, 4 hours.
Yeah, we get chatty about it.
For those of you who don't know, this is Bohab, also known as Adam from Undead Garden. We are in a
What's up,
band
people?
together. Yeah. I wonder if we should, after I edit all this stuff, if I should like, because I don't know much about podcast formats, and I'm wondering if like, because Matt would know, and I guess I could just upload the audio file into a podcast format, or I'm wondering if there's a form that we have to do.
I mean, I think we can do it however we want. It's just, I think podcasts are better when they have like a sort of a stricter format or structure to them.
Yeah.
We just tend to ramble on.
Yeah, but we
Idiot.
got a topic this time around. Like, normally we don't when we normally ramble on. It's just randomness. But in this sort of context, we're specifically talking about a specific thing. So while we're getting into it, and we are going to be talking about Attack on Titan, episode 9. So everything that has happened prior to this is basically we're in this new world. We are we've learned who the new characters are, like Gabby, Falco, and all of them, and then we finally got introduced to Eren and Mikasa and their whole looks and stuff like that. Eren's horrible mustache, and
Yeah, well, he shaved it off now, so I don't have anything left to complain about.
I know I was about to say like the very end of the very end.
For me,
Of,
that's what this episode was mostly about. It's just finally him slowly shaving that mustache off in between a bunch of people just talking about a bunch of bullshit.
they have a
But
whole
the
scene
focus
where
of the episode, yeah, I know, but like the framing device they chose, where it's just Aaron shaving off his dumb mustache while it cuts in between a bunch of people talking about whatever nonsense. They're sad that giants are giant.
Yeah.
Typical Attack on Titan nonsense.
everything's sad.
They
Let me
finally
shave off
shaved
my
that
beard.
mustache, which I think we're all super happy about.
I was about to say, yeah, that was like that was the main hitting point. I like how that was like the very end of the episode too. It's just all like I would like to imagine. I know it's not true, but I'd like to imagine that someone saw our stream on you bitching about it, and they're like, you know what,
And
what?
they immediately built a time machine, went back, and reanimated the series to get rid of that mustache, so they could
Exactly.
have that pivotal mustache shaving scene. This is what the whole season has been building up to: is Aaron getting rid of that stupid mustache. And I'm
Right.
glad we finally got there.
We're at the climax,
It was
the pinnacle
cathartic.
point.
A lot of people had to die to make this happen, but he finally got rid of that mustache.
So they got in a fight, they escaped on the Zeppelin, and then we get actually a lot of back and forth between them. So we get to see them on the Zeppelin, and there's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of like time jumps where like we get to see what's happening in the past versus what's happening to the present, and it's all through Armin. Armin is holding onto this shell, and he's just talking to himself about basically, is there any way to prevent this? He's just recapping everything, like the possibilities of like, was there a way to avoid it? And I was looking at the TV, and in my head I'm all like, yeah, there was a ton of ways to avoid a lot of this. But the show makes a good case that Eren is Eren, and there's probably no way to avoid all of this.
Yes.
We see like all of these Onyo I can't pronounce his name because there's a lot of O's. There's like one Y and a K, and then a bunch of O's and N's. Onio Boko?
On Yokopan?
On Yokopan. Yes, thank you.
I believe
I want to say that's what it is.
I'm less sure now that I've heard you stumble through it. I'm less sure about that. But, maybe.
Please,
if you'd asked me to say the name before you like gave your run at it, I think I would have gotten it. But now I don't know.
I'm bad. I mean,
on Yakopan.
On Yakopan.
Yakopan.
On Yakopan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was about to say.
Yeah. Now I feel better about that now that I.
Yeah, because I was about to say, it's like shoot, I lost my thought now. No, it's like because I'm like I said, I'm editing the first video or the first stream that we did on this, and I pronounced Levi Levy, and I mispronounced so many names terribly. And like very simple, easy names too. And that should show just how bad I am with names, no matter who you are or where you come from. If you have a name, I will pronounce it wrong.
I have a similar habit, not that I pronounce the names wrong, but I forget people's names or like I don't learn their names to begin with.
Oh yeah.
So I have at least like a couple dozen people I know that I don't know that I've known for years that I literally don't know their name.
I wanted to do a skit.
Oh, hey, you. How you been?
I wanted to do a skit where, because I've been thinking about this, because like there's a person I know whose name I forgot, and it sucks because I'm like I know him, and I wanted to do a skit of like where two friends like from like elementary school or whatever meet, they hang out and whatever, and then they leave, and then it's like it goes throughout their like 20 years of life, and 20 years of their life was just them just being like, shoot, I don't know this person's name. We've been friends for 20 years, and I don't know this person's name, and I've avoided it, and they've never been in an instance where it's like... And so the person's just like, so what's your name? And the guy's just like, it's been 20 years. I don't know.
I see where you're going with that.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't explain it well. It's not as funny in concept, but I have the idea of framework.
There's something there.
Yes, there's something there. So, all right. So, yeah. So we see a lot of this stuff. So a lot of this, I'm glad they explained a lot of stuff, which was very interesting. We got to see more Sasha and Hanj. I want to go into the lighter stuff before we get into the heavy stuff. They talk about like the ideas of peace. Is there any way, again, through Armin's lens, but you see it when they're in the meetings, you see it when they're out in the shooting range, and they're talking about like these ideas of like, was there a way to accomplish peace? Can we accomplish peace without violence? Was there another path we could have taken? And the ideas of how to do
that
this.
Largely the theme of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time Armin is, he's speaking ostensibly to himself, but into the, the seashell holding, which I believe is sort of symbolic because, growing up, the whole thing with like the sea and the ocean, it was a symbol of freedom and hope in this larger outside world that was exciting and new to them. And then it's revealed at the end of the episode that he's been talking to Annie the whole time.
Yeah.
Still just chilling out in her crystal for whatever reason.
And somehow she got like her hair shorter. She got a haircut while she was in there.
I mean, just because you're in quarantine doesn't mean you can't give yourself a home haircut job. I'm sure she's still, trimming up every once in a while, trying out something new.
Oh my god!
I know I've given myself a couple bad home haircuts during quarantine.
I was gonna say your hair looked good when you came over, so and I believe you did it yourself,
well,
right?
Thank you. Yeah, I haven't paid for a haircut in like 7 years.
Jeez, really?
God, yeah. I still lived in California last time I paid for a haircut.
Yeah, has it been 7 years? It has, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh man,
getting old.
Oh yeah. Oh,
like
we've known each other for a very long time.
I don't like confrontation. And I'm apparently bad at explaining what kind of haircut I want. So anytime I like try to get get a haircut from a professional, they never cut it the way I want it. So if I'm gonna get a haircut I don't like, at least I could do it to myself. No,
Yeah.
I've gotten decent enough at it. It looks fine. It's maybe a little rough and uneven in a couple patches, but it's basically what I want. I'm supposed to pay someone to do something wrong and then have to thank them for it because I'm too much of a coward to confront them. Social anxiety. It doesn't work. And the thing where no matter who you get a haircut from, at some point they're just like jamming their crotch into your shoulder.
Oh, shit.
That is not the relationship I want with a stranger.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's not. Yeah, that does happen.
But that is a part of every haircut. I don't know if it's the law or like some sort of secret, like Freemason thing is like how they signal other members of their society. Like, I better jam my crotch into this guy's shoulder just in case they're a Freemason. Pass on the message about the lizard people or whatever. It always happens, and don't know why. It doesn't seem necessary. They need to brace their crotch against my shoulder just to get leverage to cut my hair or whatever.
Right? Just be like, I'm gonna snip, 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 snip. Because this episode has kind of like you said, I should say, this episode has like a central theme. It is just about like the price of freedom, almost. Now that you like mentioned the symbol of like the ocean and freedom and the dreams, like the price of dreams, like what's the real cost? Because Erwin had that as well. Like he would sacrifice everything for his dream. Like he sacrificed himself. He sacrificed he says, I don't care how many people I had to kill or whatever. I would sacrifice everything. And you see Aaron struggling. Was there another way? Could we have prevented this and still had our dream? But he eventually comes to the conclusion there was no way to prevent this. Aaron was going to go regardless if they went or not. They would have been attacked regardless of if they stayed or not. They had no choice but to retaliate. He's just basically like he's all like, there was nothing we could have avoided. Was there any casualties we could have avoided? He's like, not really. We were forced into this war whether we wanted to be in it or not. We didn't have a choice. It's either to fight or to live. It's like, that's just the world they live in. It's like, do you want to live or do you want to die? And when you're given those ultimatums, it's like, what do you do?
And it's the fucked up price of war.
Yeah.
Nobody's coming out with their hands unclean, but how far should you be willing to go? Like, at what point is it too much?
Yeah. At what point is killing innocents too much? And to the grander like dream aspect of it all. In addition to all of that,
is it okay to kill a bunch of innocent people if it saves more innocent people down the line? I think is like the thing they're trying to weigh there, but it's still fucked up.
Yeah, it's still fucked up.
Sad.
And then the idea of which was very interesting because they touched on it like almost immediately. So like you see this, and I wanted to make this relationship because you see this like the what's his name, Zeke's right hand woman, and the people who are close with him. You see like how they like bombed everyone. Hanja's all like, hey, you can shoot us, but don't forget, we got a Titan right behind there. She goes into like, oh my goodness, there's the dragon right behind there. And or the dragon. There's the Titan right behind there. And
you have the same problem I do, where sometimes you will just like insert words you see like in your visual range into whatever you're saying, just accidentally. It's saw the word dragon on your screen, and then it got shoehorned into the conversation.
They're just really hammering home the emotion, the actions, the everything.
Oh yeah, the newest season is fantastic. So now would be a great time to get back into it if you were ever had any love for the show.
So yeah, the thing I wanted to talk about, and one of the beautiful things about all this is like you see. Shoot, can you pronounce it again? Because I forgot the name.
Oh, Anyankapan?
Anyankapan. You see Anyankapan, and you see, like, what's the other chick's name? The
Lena?
Huh?
Helena or Yelena, depending. I think it's Helena with an H in the anime, but with a Y in the manga.
Helena and Anyakapan, you see them come on board and they start discussing and sharing all of the information. I love the interaction between Levi and Hanj, or Hanji, or Hanje, Hanji-sama. Either way,
Sure.
their little interaction of like,
All acceptable.
don't let them know how stupid we are. And Hanji's like, oh my god!
I enjoy her just unmitigated excitement about everything. Just the look on her face when they're explaining like airships and trains and shit to her.
Yeah. Like,
It's joyful.
they can fly? What? Okay, so their explanation of why they haven't invaded is a little weird. Because they're like, well, why didn't they just fly in and bomb us? It's like, well, you see, the outside titans on the outer wall are protecting you. And it's like, from airborne bombs?
Oh, the thing with the airborne thing is, from what I got it, is that had other shit going on they had to deal with.
Yeah,
They were
other
sending
wars.
in the warrior unit to try and capture the founding titan or whatever. When that got all fucked up and they lost 2 of their titans,
Mhm.
the whole world was like, "Oh shit, they lost their titans. Let's go attack those guys." So they had to focus on more on those fronts.
No,
And also, I think part of the reason why they wouldn't use the airships on Parody is that, or Paradise, or however,
Paradise. I just say Paradise.
Paradise. I mean, I that is the instinct, but I think it's supposed to be Paradise. Like, I think part of their advantage is that they know that the people within the walls don't know about the outside world. So sending an airship would kind of clue them into, hold on, there are other people. Like, part of the thing is they want people inside the wall to think that all of society outside is fucked. There's nothing but titans out there. So letting them know that there are people outside by sending an airship over top, encourage them to come out, and that would be bad for Marley.
Yeah,
If
because
the
they
people
released
on the island left.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So to keep them in the dark like that, they can't send an airship. And it would violate this sort of peace treaty that they have going on, where, you know, the
a recon. Or
yeah,
a sneaky.
the rumbling. Basically, you know, when the Eldians fucked off to Paradise, they were like, we're gonna go over here, and as long as you don't bug us, we won't send
Fuck
the
with
wall
you.
titans to destroy the world. So I believe sending an airship would violate that, and then, you know, you get the rumbling and all the titans jump up and eat everybody. That's why the warrior unit thing was like an overt operation. Cops disavowed. All weapons procured on site. So you got a solid snake that shit.
I'm trying to remember where we were at. Oh yeah, the thing I want to touch on was like, so like they're getting excited about like the stuff, the information they're learning, and Zeke has this plan, and they're executing this this plan of his where he has a chance to like make sure Eldians get back on top, become kings again or whatever, and he wants to take on the whole entire world. And we find out Onyapoko and Hilda.
Nope, you got neither of those names correct.
I'm pretty sure.
Let's try it again.
Yeah, I would
Get
have
it from the top. You said Onopoko and Hilda? It's Anyakapan and Helena.
Anyakapan and Helena. Sorry, I really suck with
Poco de
names.
Gracias.
I really suck with names.
Hildegard.
Anyakapan and Helena. We find out that they are from other countries and they were brought in as soldiers, and they were.
They were conscripted basically when Marley took over their homeland.
Yep. They've been treated as less than, you know, they've been treated just as badly as Eldians have. Yeah, no, so we see that they don't have favorable they don't have a liking to the Marleyan army and or empire in general. And it seems like a lot of the world is like that. It seems like that prediction I have I went on Discord and cuz like I watched it for a second time. And the second time I watched it, I was like, "Oh, hey, I just realized all of this stuff." And yeah, they kind of make it. It almost made me think like the Tybers family when he's saying like, "This is my repentance to you," inside his own head, right? And he looks towards his family, but he looks towards the Eldians as well. And it makes me think that I'm wondering if he's like, yeah, he's doing this, but in actuality, because he's a friend of Zeke, because we saw that in episode 2 or 3.
Oh, yeah, that might make sense.
Because
If
Zeke was all like,
he
we're
was,
going to get the Tigress family to do this because they're.
if this is part of Zeke's plan to set things in motion or whatever Zeke has got planned down the line. We still don't know a lot of the details of what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm. And he mentions
But
that Tigress is a part of his
possibility.
plans. Yeah, because like the Marley and Armor, even the generals and stuff like that, they're like, the Tigress family won't work with us. They only work with like, they're a beacon for Eldians and the rest of the world, but the Tigress family's never worked with us. And they look to Zeke and they're like, Zeke, Zeke's all like, I could probably make him, do something for us. And
oh yeah, that would make sense if all that turned out to be part of Zeke's plan.
so it's got me thinking about that as well. And we get to see like this, it touched on the ideas of race, and it made me think of like how how Jews and African Americans of the during the civil rights movement, how they band together to fight for civil rights because they were both persecuted. The Jews from the Holocaust, and blacks for like racist white people. And they band together in protest, and they actually supported each other through the 60s and 80s. And so it made me think of that because you see Armin ask questions. He's all like, hey, why is your skin dark? Like, they're like, why is your skin so much darker than ours? And you see this beautiful line from Onyan Pokan. Fuck! I can't pronounce the name.
Poco de Gracia.
I'm trying to pronounce the name, but you see this beautiful line, and he's basically says, he's all like, well, because our God, or the person who created us, Ymir, the powers that Ymir got from the God, designed us this way. And isn't that a beautiful thing that we are all different and we all think differently, and we're allowed to think what we want in a free world? And it's just this beautiful line that both touches Armin and everyone, because everyone in the room just kind of like gets quiet and looks at him. And you see Onyokapan. Did I say it right that time?
Yeah, Puffy Yami.
I'm never gonna get an answer, and I'll live in this purgatory forever.
Yeah, on Yakapan. Yeah. It's close enough.
On Yakapan, you see this beautiful smile, and you see almost it crack towards the end, where you see that like that hasn't been his life. Like, to see these people just be like, wow, this is amazing. And you see like the smile, like where he feels like he's in a comfortable area, but also you see a little bit of the facade, like that's not the entire truth. Like, he has been persecuted, he has been profiled, he has been, punished for like being different. And you see almost this kind of like sadness but relief that he's among friends and people that like just accept him for him, which I think is awesome.
Glad to see that diversity for once.
Yeah.
Also, in that moment, it seemed like it was the first time all those people had heard of the concept of God. It was completely new to them. Like, a lot of talk of demons and devils and stuff, but it seemed like they were like, this is the first time they're hearing about God, or the concept of God.
I think it was more of the fact that they're hearing that the devil, Ymir, is in the light of they are actually a god. So like the people have been talking about the fruit that they got from Ymir was from a titan, a devil titan, a demon, and they're hearing it in the light of like, this is a god, the god that Ymir gave its powers to. I think that was more of the diverse issue. I could be wrong. Like I said, I would like to, maybe I should rewatch it, but I don't know. Another thing I will say this, after reading the manga, because I remember, again, I'm editing the videos, and one of the things that we were talking about was like how weird like it is when they like pause to like where Eren like waits for like a minute before like fucking it up and getting punched by Reiner or whatever, right? The manga makes it seem more immediate than that. The manga is like, for example, the fight with the Hammer Titan, and when Reiner goes and punches them up, right? It's a lot more immediate where like Aaron's like crushed, like like Reiner is talking as he's crushing the crystal and as he's about to open it up into his mouth. And Reiner is like, so like right when he's about to eat the one that moves fast. There's
Jaw Titan?
The Jaw Titan, yeah. Right when he's about to eat it, you see Reiner transform and punch him. It's almost like an immediate thing that happens. Aaron doesn't get up and look around. He's about to bite it and then he gets decked.
Yeah, because in the anime, they're all just kind of like standing around waiting for shit to fuck up their victory, like they do at least once or twice a season. Something like that will happen. They have the enemy on the ropes, like, oh, let's just take a moment to wait for something to ruin it.
Right? Yeah, no, I think that's just to build tension. But like in the manga, it seems more cohesive because it doesn't have to have pad time. So it doesn't have to. It could take its time.
You can jump from moment to moment.
At least that's how it felt when I was reading it.
Okay.
Like I said, like when you read it, you'll.
Maybe it's just more of a to make the presentation seem more dramatic, I guess, rather than that just being the reality.
Yeah, like this is like the suspense and tension. Yes, he is such a.
It's also because it happened as a cliffhanger at the end of an episode, so I had to wait a week.
Oh yeah,
to fuck that up. If it had just played like back to back like that, I think it would have bothered me a lot less.
Well, the thing is the manga doesn't even have it be that like that's not the cliffhanger it ends on. It's kind
not
of
even
like,
the end of a chapter. It's just
the middle of one because the chapter, not Assassin's Bullet, but like it's before that. It's like Battlefield or something like that. It's called something similar. It has Battlefield in the name, but basically it starts off with the ODM gear and the Hammer Titan fighting, and then the Jaw Titan fighting, and all of that turret stuff, and the Cart Titan, and then you see like he's like all of that happens, and then like Reiner decks him, and they get away, and the chapter ends with Sasha being shot, and that's when it ends. That's when it goes into the next chapter or whatever. So. Okay. So, like, you could see, like, that cliffhanger wasn't really a cliffhanger. It was just one of the moments in the fight of the chapter, because it was a whole chapter of just fighting.
It still bugs me, but not as much anymore.
But
honestly, it only bugs me because they do that so often in this series.
Yeah, and I'm wondering why that is. I'm wondering if it's just because they have to draw out the time to when they were trying to keep up with the manga. Like, it would
fuck up the story if they killed off some of these people too early.
Yeah.
I mean, what would season 4 be if Zeke had died at the end of season 3?
Aaron going on a rampage still. Bye, Kylo.
I'm sure he would have found some way to turn the entire world on himself.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Armin says. Armin says, like, no matter what, Aaron would have done this. There's no stopping it. And also the fact that Aaron kept that information from season 3, and they're going into season 4, and they're like, you've been keeping this a secret for, like, 3 years, or 2 years or whatever.
About 2 years at that point.
Yeah, and they're like, how dare you keep this a secret? What the fuck? And he's all like, I was concerned that you guys were going to make Historia a weapon. Essentially is what he's trying to say.
I understand him keeping it from like Levi and stuff, but like you think he would have confided that in Armin at least.
Yeah, or Armin. Yeah, because that's what Armin also says.
Armin is in charge of their overall strategy, so him having more information would have been to his advantage.
Yeah, but I think that's what it is Aaron has isolated himself from everybody. Like Armin even says, I thought I knew Aaron better than anyone, even Mikasa. I always felt like I understood everything about him, and truth is, I understand nothing about him.
Yeah, he's definitely. You're right. He has isolated himself.
Yeah. And then now we getting into the heavy stuff. Sasha's death and funeral and flashbacks into like, so you see that the people, the Eldians, the Marleyan Eldian army that Zeke has brought, they are all in like, well, Zeke gets thrown into the Titan Forest. Gabby and Falco are in jail, and the Marleyan army has their guns being pointed at them, and they're being treated like hostages. You know, like, and you see that there's a lot of people from Parody who are not happy about these people. They're like, these are the people who are the Titan killers, and they've killed my family. And you see them beating up on some of them, and you see that there's like
Nicolo, especially
Nicolo, yeah. And poor Nicolo, like you see like this heart wrenching thing where like you see like he's all like, fuck you devils, and like he was one of the people who got captured, but he wasn't like Onyokapan or Helena.
Hello.
Did you say Hilda?
I was laying a trap for you to see if I could get you to agree to it.
Yeah, but you see that they're not as on board, because like Helena's like super like, I understand you're pulling guns and you like whatever, but you see Commander Pixis is all like, this is like really fucked up what we're doing, and I hope this all works out because you seem like really awesome people, you've helped us. And you see her just being like, no, I get it, you got to do what you got to do, hopefully we'll have dinner at the table one day, which is interesting. But you see that he cooks all this food, and they cook seafood and all these foods that
it was nice to see Sasha eat some delicious food. I miss her, so it was nice to see her to have some happy moments.
Okay, I got a question. Her and Connie, were they like a thing? Because it seems like there's a lot of like hints that they were a thing, because you see Nikolai.
I think it seems more like a platonic thing. Like, Connie refers to her as his like twin, basically. It's more like a sibling relationship.
Yeah.
I never got any kind of romantic tension from them.
And then you see Nikolai, who's like super like devastated that Sasha's gone.
Yeah.
And he's all like, a kid? Are you fucking kidding me? How can you guys let this do it? And they're like, Mikasa's like, no, this kid was trained. And he's like, oh, it's one of the special candidates.
He warrior. And Gabby, speaking of which, still pissed off.
Yeah,
still did not
Aaron.
lose any steam finding out that Zeke was the one who and the giant attack that killed all of her friends.
Still mad at Aaron.
Still blaming Aaron for it, even though it was Zeke's plan and she worships Zeke.
Yeah.
So, hey, good for you, misplaced anger.
But you see Sasha, and I almost cried because like Nikolai's like he's all like, listen, I'm just like,
I especially the moment with meeting Sasha's family, I teared up.
That's the part I'm talking about where
I have feelings.
Yeah,
I feel feelings.
Well, it's because he's all like, listen, I am just a captive. I am a hostage that makes food.
I used to cook delicious food.
You know, and you see that because throughout the whole entire episode, you see that even on Parody, the Eldians from Marley aren't being treated any better than they were over there. They're just in a different circumstance. Mm. And you see this, like, they've known nothing but, like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, and all this, like, hatred towards one another. And you just see him, he's like, listen, you don't know me, I don't know you, but I know your daughter. And I know I'm a captive, and I know I'm your enemy, and I know me and my people have caused you a lot of pain, but she loved my cooking more than anyone else. And if you want to come over and eat, and you see them being, like, on the house, and he's like, of course. And it was just like, I'm like, oh, that's so nice, but you're so sad because like Sasha's gone.
Yeah,
it's like it was really crazy.
She's eating potatoes in heaven now.
The manga I got, so like before I started reading recently, the farthest I got in the manga was when Zeke revealed himself to be the Beast Titan. And that was the last time I read the manga. And then after that, I didn't know what happened. So now I'm a lot further than I was back then. I thought that was like a huge thing. And I'm like, oh no, I was so far behind. That's like chapter 60. And I'm on like chapter 109 or something like that. It's like, oh, it's a lot. So we see this like bonding and these things where like people are like talking about like, is this a real thing? Is this something we could trust? Is is there a way to achieve peace? But like, and you see like the consensus, which I find funny, is like, no, there's no way to do this. There's no way to stop this war. There's no way to prevent these casualties. There's no way to do any of this stuff. But you also see these specks of humanity where it's like, yeah, there was no way, but like you see these little instances of like things you can do. You can treat other people like, you know, humans. Like Sasha loved the food and bonded Nikolai and Sasha together and everyone else together with that. You know, you see these like these things where like Hanj and Anyakapan, pretty sure I got that one wrong too. But you see them have kind of this like really cool close relationship as well, as he shares his knowledge with Hanj, and Hanj just becomes fascinated by it, which I think is interesting. And so you see these little instances of where they like, and then Commander Pixis and Helena and how they bond. So I like all these little instances and stuff like that where you see these other sides and you see these other things going on. So yeah, so I mean that's pretty much the whole episode. And then he's talking to Annie. So I'm assuming Annie's gonna have something in the next episode or in the episode after that. I feel like.
Yeah, it's definitely
because they have the Jaw Titan too.
What do you mean? Who has the Jaw Titan?
Aaron does. Does he not?
Oh no!
Oh no, he doesn't. He doesn't.
Remember?
It got away. It got away. I remember. No, it got away.
Reiner grabbed him at the last second.
Shit. I'm sorry. I was misremembering that. So
I remember we called this like 2 episodes ago. We're like, Aaron's gonna fuck this up.
Yeah.
Actually, we talked about him fucking it up earlier in this episode.
Yeah, I know. I just remembered that. That's why I was all like, forget what I said. But I feel like Annie's still gonna have some important role to play.
They seem to be hinting that she's gonna decrystallize and see where she falls loyalty wise.
Yeah,
she definitely didn't seem to give a shit about Marley.
Yeah, she did. She even said in the flashback, she's all like, "I only give a shit about myself. That's all that matters is protecting myself and my own."
I don't know what her relationship with Zeke is like. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to find out what that is.
Yeah. So real quick before we go into predictions, because I mean I think that's pretty much it. That's the whole episode.
Yeah, that about covers it.
And we'll get into predictions and some theories I have personally, from because I analyzed this. This is the first episode I actually sat down and was like, okay, I'm gonna get my pen and paper, and I'm gonna look at everything, and I'm gonna see if there's any hints anywhere.
I should do that for next week, honestly. So I can be a little more, contribute a little more.
Yeah, no worries.
Than just feeding you fake names to try and throw you off.
Real quick, I discovered last night, because we were talking about Attack on Titan, but we weren't talking about like spoilers or anything like that. We were just talking about anime in general. But there's two OVAs. Each of them has 3 episodes. It's called Lost Girls, and the other one's called No Regrets. And Lost Girls is the story of Mikasa and Annie, their relationship, and their time at the academy when they were going through training to become a soldier before everything happened.
When did these come out? I haven't heard of
2014. They're anime exclusive OVAs. I don't know if they're in America. If we can find them, I would love to watch them, because they were released before season 3 came out. They were released.
Okay, I'll go back and try to find them.
And No Regrets is the story of Levi and his relationships with everybody. And then
I will track it down.
Yeah, so I think I don't know if they hold any clues or anything like that, but it was something that I found out, and I was like, oh yeah, that'd be cool. But so getting into predictions, I want to talk about, so like there's a lot of stuff obviously in the thing where like I think Annie is gonna be introduced.
Reintroduced, I guess.
Yeah, reintroduced.
However, crystallized.
Yeah, I wonder what's
called out. I don't have a lot of solid. So we're still waiting to like find out like what exactly Zeke's plan is.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get some explanation for that.
They give us a loose explanation of his plan during the meeting.
Yeah, we have a very general, but we don't know any specifics.
Yeah. And then they also have the serum. They have a bunch of Titan serums now, and you see Commander Pixis is like, "Oh, don't worry, we'll be fine. We'll figure it out." Like they're like, "You can't replace, you can't remake."
Apparently, they have enough to do whatever they're gonna do, but we don't know what that is.
Yeah, or like, I mean, they're like, "We only gave you these weapons 2 days ago, and you've already figured out how to replicate them." So I'm wondering if they're gonna do the same thing with the Titan serum, because Elena makes that note.
I mean, it's basically spinal fluid from Titans, right? I mean,
yeah,
it's
but
the
they say
base
that
of
that's the base of it. But they say the process is a lot harder because
Okay.
there's probably got to be like
Could
catalysts.
replicate.
Yeah, it depends on how
Yeah,
much detail
I mean-
they want to get into it.
Yeah, they haven't really been specific about what that process is, but I do know Titan spinal fluid is like the base, what it is manufactured.
Yeah,
There's something that they could get their hands on, presumably.
because they say that it evaporates when you try to take it out. Han
When
says,
it exposed to the air, so you'd have to remove it like with a syringe, I guess.
and so I think so. Annie's gonna be introduced to it. I can't remember what the preview was. That was like
I can't either. I've been racking my brain. Like what? It was super short and super vague from what I can remember, but I can't
Like all
remember
of
anything
them.
specific.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this one more so.
What is the next episode even called? Right?
I'm completely blanking. Well, it's been
okay.
a couple days since I watched it.
So I wanna do something real quick. So the intro. I talked about the intro and like the first time we did this and how cool it was.
Oh, it's called A Sound Argument.
A sound arc. So this is probably like where we hear Zeke's plan or where we hear the next stage and what the plan is.
Justification for all they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Okay, so
But I want to go into the intro because, well, one, the intro is a lot of like bombing footage. But if you look at a lot of it, there's like little like the bombs of the Titans. That's what we saw in like the first episode and stuff like that. And then you see like the soldiers and the towns and the villages, and you see the decimation of that. But you see at the very beginning, and you see something, and I feel dumb because Falcon, like. You also see him reaching out to a falcon. You see a lot of imagery with him and falcons and stuff like that and all this other stuff. You see this in the outro more prominently, where it's always from the eyes of a bird. Throughout the whole entire series, they're talking about how aerial flight is taking over and stuff like that. And you see like this strong association with Falco and Falcon. And I'm thinking Falco's going to eat Zeke, because I know we were talking about like either Falco's gonna eat Zeke or Aaron's gonna eat Zeke. Someone's gonna eat Zeke. Someone has to eat him, and I think
it would have to be someone with royal blood for them to like.
We don't know Falco's heritage.
Yeah,
and I don't think they have to be royal blood. I think it could like, I just think that it is.
They need a Titan with royal blood to complete their plan. Currently, the one they have is Zeke.
Which
and potentially, I mean, never really saw what happened with Zeke's mom. Maybe they have her captured or something.
Zeke's mom?
Yeah. Remember, she was a Titan running around. Remember when?
Aaron Diana. No, I thought Aaron
Dinah.
said he didn't Aaron say he killed her or something in the press conference? He's like, I met a Titan a while ago.
Yeah, but they didn't kill her. They ran off
Why do I
into
think
the wilderness after that.
Okay.
They do say that they, like cleared out the island of Titans, but what if they kept that one?
Okay,
So that was going back, because that flashback was to before they finished clearing out the Titans.
Yeah.
So what if they...
Like I said, I'd have to watch it again, because I'm wondering if... Okay, so there's that. But I also think, I don't know, we don't know Falco's... Where does Falco come from? Like, who's his relatives? What do we know about him?
Well, his brother, and that's about it.
So that makes me curious. I don't know. It's just there's a lot of imagery. It's strong imagery with Falco, Falcon, Sky. They always mention.
It's not out of the question, but it'd be kind of a crazy twist to throw in there on top of everything else.
Yeah,
it's definitely not out of the question.
I mean, because there's also focusing so much on Falco.
They were planning on having someone eat Zeke, but if they were planning on having someone eat Zeke, it just doesn't like kind of groove with the rest of the plan, because the whole point is that like they're on a limited timetable because of Zeke.
Mm-hmm.
If the plan is to have Zeke get eaten, then they don't need to like rush into. It's the whole thing with why they're rushing to do this now is because Zeke's got less than a year left to live.
Yeah, pretty much.
If they could just have, if part of the plan was to have Zeke get eaten, then they have another 13 years to do whatever.
Well, not true, because Zeke's plan may require something like that. Also, we don't know if Zeke's plan is. I mean, I know I've been speaking as if Zeke's plan is in line, but they also are still speculating that Zeke might betray them, and they lay a few things that suggest that as well. I don't think that's what's gonna happen, but we don't know. We don't know what Zeke might do, because he's all like, "It would be great if you could bring me Gabby and Falco here," and I'm like,
I don't think he's necessarily going to betray them. More that like his plan is so crazy that they wouldn't agree to it if they knew exactly what it was.
yeah. And I also think I don't know. Again, there's just a strong imagery, so maybe it's just high speculation, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. It's a lot that focuses on Falco. It's always them together. It's always the Falcon that's flying in the sky, looking over everything or whatever, and it's always Falco. It's like the Falcon disappears.
Yeah, you're right. I hadn't considered how much the opening and closing focuses on him.
Yeah, and
it definitely makes it seem like he's going to be more of a big character going on.
Yeah, and that's I mean, that's just because like I don't know if anyone watches Mother's Basement, but if that YouTuber has taught me anything, openings can reveal a lot of information if you analyze them and break them down. And that's why I say I analyzed this episode for the first time, because I'm like, oh yeah, openings and endings tend to reveal a lot. Maybe I can analyze this and maybe look at the visual imagery they're trying to set and see if there's any clues. So there's that, right? And there's just a lot of this imagery, especially in the first 7 episodes. Before we shift the perspective to Aaron again, which we don't really shift the perspective to Aaron all that much. We're focused a lot on the outer cast. And the first 7 episodes are focused on
less
Falco.
of a point of view character. He's definitely less of a point of view character now that he's switching to more of an antagonist role.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot, at least in the first 7 episodes, we're focused mainly on Falco. It's Falco who is the point of reference character. And so that's why I say this, because I'm thinking, oh, maybe he's the Armored Titan, or maybe he's gonna get some type of Titan. And I'm like, well, maybe he's the Beast Titan, because there's a lot of imagery that suggests that, especially in the first episode where he's dreaming of being the bird, and he's lying on the ground, and then he wakes up, and they're like, "You're alive? You okay?" And then there's like all this again, just all of this stuff that just piles up, where he's like, "Okay, well, all right." I mean, unless it's just it just seems too obvious to not be a thing. And then, of course, Gabby's just angry and all that other bullshit.
Somehow completely unmoved by all of the like world-shaking revelations of the last like 12 hours of her life.
Yeah.
Still very much misplaced anger towards Aaron, even though it was Zeke, the person she basically worships, whose plan it was that caused everyone to die.
Pretty much, yeah.
Still solely placing the blame on Aaron.
What a bitch. It's Aaron's fault that Sophie and other people were dead, though. But yeah, and then also...
but Aaron showed up and did all that shit because it was part of Zeke's plan. So let's lay it all at his feet.
Agreed.
If Gabby's going to be pissed off at Aaron, she should at least be as pissed off at Zeke too.
Agreed. Also, real quick, so I remembered in the last episode, in episode 8, where we find that Sasha dies. You see Jean actually go up against, and he's bitching about because they say let's kill him, and he says stop. When is this going to stop? When are we going to stop the killing? Killing them won't do anything. It won't bring Sasha back. And you see him, and then he goes into the other room, and then is like, "This is all your fault, Aaron." That Sasha's dead.
Not wrong.
He's not wrong. But you see, like that's the reason why, because Jean, however you want to pronounce his name,
Jean.
uh,
One day more, the day, another destiny. Never-ending road to Calvary. Les Mis fan.
He is a huge Les Mis fan.
Jean Valjean.
Uh,
When he showed up, when he shows up, he chops off a Titan's head and yells 24601. It's a great moment.
I'm gonna finish my thought, and then I'll pass the ball to you, Bohab, so you can
All right.
whatever predictions that you can think of. So that's one of my predictions, is that I think Falco is gonna become the Beast Titan, just because there's so much symmetry, I think not symmetry, imagery. Symmetrical imagery between the two of them, the Falcons and Falco. All right, I'm gonna finish this real quick. I think Falco's gonna be a Falcon because of the imagery. There's a lot of imagery in the ending that's like that quantum spiral tree, quantum physical. Like if you ever seen like quartz or like diagrams where they like do imagery of like how photons interact and string theory. There's a lot of imagery with trees and stuff like that. There's at the very end, it's real quick, but at the very end, there is this tree, and there's this girl who kind of looks like either Historia or like Ymir, like how she's depicted in the books. It kind of looks like her. And so I'm thinking that like that imagery is showing us Ymir, and so we're going to actually see either, I don't know, I'm not 100% sure. I know they've shown pictures and imagery of what she looks like in her clothing, but I'm wondering if we're actually going to get to meet her or introduced to her, or some type of like flashback where we get to see how all of this started or whatever. But I think that they're sewing in that. Maybe I'm thinking too into it. And then the intro. At the very end, they show Aaron in Beast Titan form with a bunch of Titans behind him, and he is at the top going like reaching out in all stone. So this either leads me to believe that either they are somehow able to harden him, which I think is impossible, or that Aaron wins. Aaron somehow gets the power to control all the Titans and gets to like have all of the powers and like literally wins and destroys everything, and no one can stop him. That's my prediction.
It would make him quite the villain.
It would.
I don't have anything that grand to predict. Just that I think Annie's going to come back. That's definitely heavily into that. It'd be good. She was a good character.
She was solid. I liked her. And that's why it's like I think Lost Girls will flesh her out, because that's not real spoilers.
Okay.
It's like,
yeah, hopefully.
It's just their like time at the academy.
A good character that got sidelined for too long. So it'd be interesting to see her come back into the mix. That's really my only prediction. I need to wait and see Zeke reveal more about what the details of his plan is.
At some point,
I'm interested to see though.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And yeah, it sounds like the next episode looks like you'll analyze it a little bit more.
I'm excited for next week.
Yes, Monday. And if you guys want to keep up to date, real quick, just for YouTube's sake, hi YouTube. Everyone in the chat, say hi YouTube.
Hey YouTube.
Thank you so much for watching us talk and ramble on about Attack on Titan. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, hey, like, share, subscribe. Go follow me on Twitch, because that's where all these discussions are happening. I do a bunch of other stuff.
The eyeball licking and the giant snails, it's just getting too French in here.
And you'll understand that if you watch the full stream. Oh God.
Maybe.
I'm not gonna edit that out. I'm gonna keep that in. People on YouTube are gonna be like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" With the
Belgium. Listen, guys, I love your waffles, but cool it on the eyeball licking.
So yeah, so if you want to know more what that's all about or any more, go follow me on Twitch and leave a comment of what you guys think Attack on Titan, what you think of the latest episodes or the series as a whole. And we'll see you guys next time. Be awesome, 100%.